And then I was thinking about, well, there was this one time where I lost I didn't lose my aunt's dog, but I was like, I don't know, 11 or so. And my aunt had slept over, and her little dog Pepper, who was like this little black dog with like a brown nose, um, was a really fun little dog, and like it was in Di's like child. Um, and then I was going to speak about that because I accidentally was playing with Pepper and let her out of the backyard, and Pepper just like bolted. And I remember thinking, oh, oh my God, what am I going to tell Aunt Di? And I started racing after Pepper, and um, I couldn't, I couldn't get Pepper, and she just kept running away. And I remember running down the street, screaming at the top of my lungs. Like Pepper was maybe 30 feet ahead of me, just running down the street. And I remember looking by, because it's a main street, going towards my elementary school, and these people are driving past me, looking at this kid screaming at the top of his lungs, and nothing was around him, so they were probably wondering, what the fuck is up with this kid? And I tried coaxing Pepper, like Pepper would stop and like sniff something, and like a pine cone or something like that. And then I would run up to her a little bit, and she would hear me, and then run further down, and then, I would start screaming again, Pepper, stop, and then I would slowly like inch up on her again, and then she would stop, smell something, and this went on for a good 15 minutes or so. I must have been like, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile down from my house. And finally Pepper found something that she got really interested in, and just kind of stood there and started smelling this thing. And I finally crept up enough where, like, she saw me, but I didn't scare her, and she kind of just stood there, facing this way, but her head was looking this way, and she kind of just looked at me a little bit. So then I stopped and was like doing the little cat thing with like the fingers out, come here, Pepper, and she didn't move towards me, but she didn't run. So I started going slower, but I kept on creeping up to her. And eventually I got up to Pepper, and I picked her up, and, I didn't have any shoes on. So my feet were, had rocks and shit underneath them. And I just remember, like, all of a sudden stopped crying, and like standing for a second and just thinking, I'm so happy I found Pepper, because I don't know how to explain it to my aunt that I lost a fucking dog. And then, we started walking back to my house, and, I guess I saved Pepper. I kind of opened up the gate and, brought it back in. And, I mean, when I left, I was really like angry at Pepper because it's like, well, how the fuck could you leave like that? What the fuck am I gonna tell Aunt Di? But then when I brought her back, I was just so happy. I didn't even feel like yelling at Pepper or anything like that. I just, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm not gonna tell Aunt Di. Um, so that's kind of what I was thinking about talking about today, and I didn't even really want to talk about that. I kind of wanted to talk about my acting experience today, but I kind of took longer than I wanted to with this Pepper story.